Hey guys, welcome back to the Gamers Hall. I'm Chris, and today, Rules Lawyer video. So, we're gonna go with Rules Lawyer video on hiding in combat and unseen targets, how that works, and how that's all gonna go together. So, let's get into it. So, in combat, a player is going to decide to hide, whether they're hiding behind a creature, hiding behind one of the other players, or hiding behind maybe a piece of terrain such as a table, a tree, or whatever it is. Now, in order to do this, the player has to take into consider three different rules. So there's the hide action, there's hiding, and then there's the unseen attackers and targeting rules. Now, I'm going to go through these step by step so that it's very easy to understand. Let's go. When a creature or a player take the hide action, all it is you're making a dexterity stealth check. And that's all it is. D20, get your number. Now, you have to go to hiding, and it's also in a different part of the book. So, it's not under stealth, which it kind of should be. The DM decides when circumstances are appropriate for hiding. When you try to hide, make a dexterity stealth check. Until you are discovered or stop hiding, that check's total is contested by a wisdom perception check of any creature that actively searches for signs of your presence. You can't hide from a creature that can see you clearly, and you give away your position if you make noise, such as shouting a warning, knocking over a vase. An invisible creature can always try to hide. Signs of its passage might still be noticed, and it does have to stay quiet. In combat, most creatures stay alert for signs of danger all around. So if you come out of hiding and approach a creature, it usually sees you. However, under certain circumstances, the DM might allow you to stay hidden as you approach a creature that is distracted, allowing you to gain advantage on the attack roll before you are seen. Let's break this down. Okay, you can't hide from a creature that can see you clearly. Basically, this is one of those things that I interpret as, hey, if you flip a table over and then you duck behind the table, well then the creature knows you're there. I don't care if you crit on that stealth check. Just because you flipped the table over and ducked behind it doesn't mean the creature doesn't know you there. It basically just means that, hey, you're under total cover now, and you can't be targeted by spells that require seeing you, or sight, or line of sight. That's what I'm assuming they're talking about when they say this. And also, hey, if you come up and you go around a corner, well, you're not hidden just because you're around the corner. They know you're around the corner, and they know that there's a possibility that you could come up around that corner. Or if you're in a forest and you just get up behind a tree, just because you're behind the tree and I can't see you anymore doesn't mean I don't know that you're there. Now, if a player does something a little crafty and does like a misty step to, they go behind the tree, they misty step and go to a different tree, but the person doesn't see them do that, now that would definitely apply. But just because you're behind the tree, no, they pretty much know you're still there. Alright, now with invisibility, an invisible creature can always try to hide. And what this means is the fact that you can hide basically in plain sight because you're invisible. So a rogue can use this bonus action to use cunning action and hide, and this is going to benefit rogues. Rogues with greater invisibility, whoa, they can come up, stab you, and then move away, use the bonus action to hide. Now you don't know where they're at, or they use bonus action to hide and then move away quietly. Man, that's some great stuff. Or, they're using it to just get around the battlefield. But if you don't use the hide action, the creatures generally know where you're at. So an invisible stalker, for instance, if you're fighting one, if it's not taking the hide action, the players generally have a good idea of where it's at. Now, you're going to be attacking it at disadvantage, but you know where it's at because it's making noise, it's moving around, it's not trying to be hidden. And this is where I think a lot of DMs or players are playing wrong in certain aspects when it comes to the invisibility and being hidden and knowing where a creature may or may not be. But that's also why they say in combat, most creatures stay alert for signs of danger all around. So if you come out of hiding to approach a creature, it usually sees you. This is what it's talking about. You're making sounds. You didn't take the hide action, therefore you aren't hiding. You're making noise. Whatever you're fighting, it knows where you're at. It has disadvantage to hit you, but it knows where you're at. And under certain circumstances, the DM may allow this. Now, that's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe you did something to get away from this creature, or you did something so that it thinks you're here, but really you're somewhere else. Or, maybe it got distracted with something else and it's not worried about you. Or maybe you're the type of table that when you're playing on a map, you really worry about the facings of the miniature. So it's like, okay, well, this miniature is facing this way, so if I do something and teleport over here, it's not going to know that I'm behind it. Or because it's facing this way, I can sneak up behind it and then get my sneak attack damage, or at least get advantage on the attack because, the facings matter in that aspect typically. The person's passive perception is what's going to determine whether they notice you or not, because even if they aren't searching for you, some people's passive perception is high enough that they will catch wind of you, or they will notice you, or be like, oh, something's behind me, and hey, it's Dungeons and Dragons. They know that invisibility is a thing, so it's not outside of the realm of possibility. So that's why the passive perception is a big deal, and you have to factor in advantage and disadvantage. So at advantage, their passive perception is going to get a +5. At disadvantage, it's going to get a -5. So depending on what creature it is, be on the lookout for that so that you'll know whether they have that +5 or -5. All right, unseen attackers and targets. When you attack a target that you can't see, you have disadvantage on the attack roll. This is true whether you're guessing the target's location or you're targeting a creature you can hear but not see. If the target isn't in the location you targeted, you automatically miss. But the DM typically just says that the attack missed, not whether you guessed the target's location correctly. When a creature can't see you, you have advantage on the attack rolls against it. If you are hidden, both unseen and unheard, when you make an attack, you give away your location when the attack hits or misses. Invisibility is going to be one thing on this, but let's not worry about that. Seen and unseen. If you hide behind something, like let's say you flipped a table over, you hide behind it, you get up, you throw a dagger, do you have advantage on that attack roll? You're in the woods, you hide behind that tree, you pop out of either the left or right side and you shoot a crossbow bolt at the enemy. Do you have advantage or not because you did make a stealth check the turn before? I would argue no. No, you don't, because you are stepping out into the open. You are being seen. Even if all you're doing is, hey, here's the tree, you're leaning over like this and shooting and then coming back in, no, you're still being seen. Like, they see you. For you to see it typically can see you under most circumstances. Now, there are circumstances where you can see it and it didn't see you. But just circumstances like that, because I've seen a lot of players do that, where it's like, hey, I was behind the bar, and then I moved down 5 feet, and then I popped up and shot him. Well, I hid here, but I moved here. It's like, that's not far enough. If you jump behind a bar, I still know that, hey, you're probably going to pop up somewhere from there and shoot me, throw a dagger, or fire a crossbow bolt, shoot a spell off, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. If you're in that general area, creatures aren't stupid. They're not that stupid. They have a good idea that you're there and you're going to be popping up from somewhere. It has to be a good distance, I would say, for you to be able to use that. But just coming off the whim like that and saying, "Oh, I hid behind this tree and then I come out and throw something." No, sorry, that they see you. If they see you coming out or wherever you are, or if you're ducked behind the bar but then you pop up above the bar, then no, they see you. Therefore, you're not a unseen attacker. So therefore, you wouldn't get the advantage. You're gonna have to do a little more than that. Put a little more creativity behind this. It's gonna be a little more difficult than that, because I guarantee you, if the DM tried to pull some stuff like that, players would get furious. Like, what? I saw him jump behind the bar just because he did this. Oh yeah, I passed a stealth check, man, and your passive perception's low. Players would be outrageous on stuff like that. But what do you guys think? Have you ever come across this at your table? Have any of you ever had to deal with something like this? Have you ever had to try and explain this rule to your players? Please let me know in the comments, or let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me. Like, right or wrong. Hey, let's kindly argue about this. It's what I do. We can do this. But hey, let me know your stories, your experiences. I want to hear them. And if you think I'm wrong, let's chat about it. Let's do it. Until then, guys, Rules Lawyer out. Keep having fun with your friends.